Okay, and we're back. Sorry, it took a little bit to finish the wear and tear, so this video is going to go out a little bit later than the other ones, and it'll delay. Not much for you guys since you gotta catch up, but yeah. Anyways, back on top, as you can see that I have all of the wear and tear done. I didn't use any generators since, like I said before many times, this base already has them. But yeah, so I'm ready to port to Garry's mod. Okay, so there's a couple different things you need to do, and this is what you need Notepad++ for, Crowbar, and VTF edit. And I use something called Maltard's Mass VMT Generator. I will be linking that in this video, as this is the porting. So first of all, go to File, Export Textures, or Control-Shift-E for anyone who's savvy with their keyboard. Click on this little bar right here, and just throw it somewhere. Doesn't matter where you go, just make sure you can find it. And for me, I am very organized, as I said earlier, with this kind of stuff. Nothing else though, only this. So just gonna slap it down here. Okay. I am going to then select all of these. And just left clicking, and you're just unchecking everything except for this first check mark. You want that first check mark, see? Okay. Full settings. And we'll do 2048. Okay. So then we just hit export. And it is done. So we no longer technically need Substance Painter, but I'm going to leave it open just in case I ran into an error. So we're going to close all this. Okay. Here we are back in Blender. Blender is only a little bit important. We can close everything here. Okay. So, as you can see, we're going to come to my folders. Okay. We're going to go to the add-ons folder. If you don't know where your add-ons folder is, it's in Steam, which is here. Steam apps, common, Garry's mod, add-ons. You can see I have all these folders here. These are all the past models I've made, and I'm actually working with this pack right here called the 23rd Bulwark Phase 2. So I'm going to open that up, but if you're making a new pack, you would just make a new folder. Inside this folder, you will see 3 different folders. Do not make a models folder, just make a materials in Lua. The models folder will be made automatically when you compile the model, so just do not have a models folder, whatever you do. Okay. In materials, I have the 23rd folder, and then I have coil and shared. And I'm going to actually do another thing where I make a copy, or not a copy, a new folder, call it Trooper. Okay, so I just made the Trooper, and you can see that there's nothing in here. And I'm going to be making the VTFs and porting them over here. Shared. So if you're making a pack of models, so let's say you want 7 or 8 models in one pack, right? And they all have the same visor, they all have the same suit, and they all have the same comma and pauldron. Rather than having those in each of these folders, just put them in shared, and then it'll automatically carry over. So like the beret, the comma, the face, etc., etc. And I actually have to make an edit to mine because, unfortunately for me, I made a slight mistake. So, just copy that, and you need to have here too. Okay, so if this is confusing to anybody, then let me know, and I will happily do a complete new port with a different model that isn't in a folder, so I can just do everything from start. But this is more so to give you the basics. So you don't really need to have anything here unless you have that shared stuff, right? But the basic stuff that you need to know is how to make a VTF and a VMT. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my retexturing models folder, and I'm going to come to this thing called Crowbar. Crowbar is important, so I'm just going to open it up, but I'm going to minimize it immediately after because I'm not using it yet, but it's just good to have open and ready to go. And I'm going to do the same thing for this mass VMT generator, which, like I said, I will be linking this one in the comment or the description below, but this is vertex lit generic, and that's what I want. If I don't have that, then I'm screwed. Oh shoot, sorry. So for the next part, I'm going to type in 23rd / trooper. And if you're wondering where I got that from, it's because it's 23rd trooper here, right after the materials. You don't need to type anything else but the 23rd and trooper part there. It'll do the rest for you. Okay, now I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go back to my desktop, and I'm going to open up VTF Edit. Okay, I'm going to go to Tools, Convert Folder. My input folder, I'm going to change into my, that's the wrong one, my Phase 2 Trooper folder. And my output's going to be the same thing, but in the add-ons folder. So it's going to be in this folder, Materials, Trooper. And I'm just going to hit OK. I'm going to unselect this Create VMT Files and make sure it's on to VTF from PNG. I am then going to just click Convert. It is going to load all of this. And it's going to take a little bit. It's going to freeze up and whatnot. But it'll convert all your PNGs to VTFs. And just to show you what I mean by that is, look. It changed the PNG into a flat VTF texture, which stands for valve texture file. So you can see my textures here. You can see the wear and tear. You can see the detail. And these are actually really high definition. So that's good. So 2048 is the way to go. Okay. That should be all of them. No, it's not. I don't need the suit, though. I accidentally exported that. I don't need that, so I'm going to delete it. I don't need the visor, so I'm going to delete that. So this should be all of them. I should only have 2. And just to double check, we're going to go to Coil and check on him. Yeah, we only have 2. These are VMTs, valve material files, which I'm going to generate, and these are valve texture files. Okay, so back to our folder where we're going to. This is our texture files, and it's the same for everywhere, no matter what you do. It just depends on your pathing. So like if you were doing the shared materials, you would put shared up here, but since we're doing trooper, we're doing trooper, and that's pretty much all there is to it. We're going to then drag these, and we're actually going to put these in here. Control click. We're going to generate. Okay, they're generated. It doesn't take very long. There's number 2. I'm going to hit F2, rename this to armor. F2, rename this to helmet. I only renamed the VMTs. Do not rename the VTFs because the VMTs work from selecting textures based off your VTF. So if I change the name of my VTF to helmet, then I wouldn't have a trooper or base color anymore, and then it wouldn't be a valid VMT. So the textures are done because I already have all my shared textures in the Ever folder, and I've already ported those. They worked with Quail. But the physical model isn't in game yet. And so this is where the fun begins. This is where most people get lost. I'm going to just come to this folder just because it's there. And I'm going to go into my updated CC13 base folder. That's where I just shortcutted myself. Which, by the way, make sure you pin the folders you use a lot. Like your add-ons folder where you have all your bases and everything like that. But anyways, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go to the models folder. Click through all this and what's not. Okay, so when I have all my models, I'm going to find the QC file. And if you remember from the first video, I'm using the Trooper QC file. Now, it doesn't exactly matter what QC file you're using. It really doesn't. What does matter is that you make a copy of it so you don't lose anything. So, keep going down here. Here it is, Trooper. I'm going to open it up. And I have Notepad++. I recommend Notepad++. It works in Notepad, Twisty to set. So, here it is, the Trooper QC file, and it's nice and short, so that's perfect for this. Okay. File, save as, and I'm going to name it 23rd enlisted.qc. Save. It's saved as that now. So, all I'm doing is I am just changing the model name to match what I had for coil. Now, it doesn't matter what you put in here. If it's a TC13, there is some legal stuff you need to put in there, which I don't know off the top of my head. But because I am... Here's what my thing looks like, right? I already have one model done for this pack. So mine's gelato16/TC13J/CaptainCoil.mdl. So if it's gelato16 TC13J, those are folders that it created from the code. So I actually need to include those. So I'm going to copy paste it, and then I'm going to rename this part 23rd enlisted. So the moral of the story is make sure that this, like, the things broken up between slashes are the same, and then this last part can be whatever you want as long as it ends in .mdl. I know I'm not explaining it the greatest. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at this, explaining this kind of stuff. I hope this video helped a little bit. But yeah, continuing on. Materials. It's the exact same thing with materials. So if you look over here, my materials, and I'm going to show Captain Coil because it's already finished. It is 23rd/coil and 23rd/shared. Okay? So the reason it is that is because I come up here. Once you come to this, right, and you open up the materials folder, you have 23rd, and then coil and shared. So as you can see, it's actually just ripping these folder names. So you make sure you type these the exact same as well. So for us, for this purpose, 23rd/trooper. And because I want it to pull from the shared folder too, I'm going to control copy this. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to paste it again. And then I'm going to hit shared down here. I'm going to control S. It's saved. Okay. I have all the SMDs I want, right? Because it's enlisted. He doesn't need to have a comma or anything. He's just a basic trooper. Okay. We're done. Kind of. Now we just throw it into Garry's mod. To do that, you come to compile on Crowbar. Your QC input needs to be a file and your output to work folder. Browse the work folder, so this is the bottom one. Add-ons. Okay, so you go to your add-ons folder. You open up your folder that you made for the regiment. So for me, it is 23rd Bulwark P2. Open it. That's it. Even if you already have a model folder, you just open it and hit open. That's it. See? There's no slash models. It just ends at 23rd Bulwark. Then you select the QC file. So, one thing important about the QC file is to always make sure that the QC file is where your SMDs are. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to open it up and show you. These are where all my SMDs are. They're all in this folder. I know you can't see them, but that's because it's a crowbar. But they are all in here. Now, let's say my 23rd enlisted guy. Let's just say that I wanted him to have the comma from the VRP base. And I didn't want him to have this comma. Because I gave him the comma from the VRP base, I would have to copy and paste the 23rd, or the comma from the VRP base into this folder, so that the 23rd enlisted could use it. Because if it's not there, it's trying to find an SMB that doesn't exist. So, yeah, and make sure that you have that down. It's more important for the VRP guys than anything else. So I'm going to open up 23rd enlisted .qc. Okay, it's done. Now I hit compile. Now, if you did something wrong, it'll show up in Crowbar. And what's nice is that when you find the error, it'll tell you where the error went wrong. So, we're going to be going down here. And you can kind of see that it's generating stuff. It's working just fine. So far, so good. There's not any issues. So that's good for us. When you have an issue with an SMD, like the SMD isn't copied over, that's where the error from the SMDs will come. And since that's the only thing you're really editing besides materials and the model name, it should be good. So we're just kind of waiting. It's being a little bit slow today, but that's to be expected. These are bigger files. Okay, finished. Come over here. look up Garry's mod. Okay, now launch Garry's mod. And note to self, and for everyone out here, this is my personal note to self, is don't ever have Garry's mod open when you're compiling. It'll make your life horrible because it'll compile into an already open game, and it's not very fun. So I have no idea why it didn't launch immediately. So we're just gonna hit launch. Yeah, starting background recording. Microphone recording is on. Okay, that's fine. So we're just gonna wait for Garry's mod to load, and I have a lot of add-ons, so it might take a little bit. And depending on how many add-ons you guys have, it might take longer. And that's just because Garry's mod does that. So I would actually, if you're gonna be doing this, I would first of all disable all your add-ons except for extended spawn menu and stand up tool. I don't think I have those installed, and I'm not going to install them before this video ends, so I'll just do it after. And then the other thing I would do is I would also recommend doing Garry's mod in a Windows rather than a full screen like I'm doing right now, just because it makes it easier to tap out and check your VTFs and what's not. So we're gonna wait for Garry's mod to load. It's gonna take a little bit. Garry's mod does take a long time to load. And since this is a video that teaches you how to port, I'm sure I did something wrong. But that's okay, because if I did something wrong, that means I can correct it now, rather than making an apology video and correcting it then. So yeah.